Kartals, please. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayo Krishna Balaram Jayo Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jayo Krishna Balaram Jayo Nittai Gauranga Jayo Nittai Gauranga Nittai Gauranga Jayo Nittai Gauranga Jayo Jaya Prabhupada 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 8th Canto Chapter 19 Text number 21 Please repeat after me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Yavanto Vishaya Preshtas Yavanto Vishayaha Preshtas Trilokyam Ajitendriyam त्रिलोक्याम अजितेन्द्रियम न शक्नुवन्ति ते सर्वे न शक्नुवन्ति ते सर्वे प्रतिपूर्यायुतुं नृपा प्रतिपूरायुतुं नृपा श्री भगवानुवाच यावन्तो विषयाः प्रेष्टास् त्रिलोक्याम् अजितेन्द्रियम् न शक्नुवन्ति ते सर्वे प्रतिपूरायुतुं नृपा श्री भगवानुवाच यावन्तो विषयाः प्रेष्टास् त्रिलोक्याम् अजितेन्द्रियम् न शक्नुवन्ति ते सर्वे प्रतिपूरायुतुं नृपा श्री भगवानुवाच यावन्तो विषया प्रेष्टा त्रिलोक्याम् अजितेन्द्रियम् न शक्नुवन्ति ते सर्वे प्रतिपूरायुतुं नृपा. One more person, Mataji. Any of you can try? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Yavanto Vishayaha Preshtas Trilokyam Ajitendriyam Na Shaknuvanti Te Sarve Pratipurayutum Rupa. Word to word translation. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Yavantaha, as far as possible, Vishayaha, the objects of senses, enjoyment, Preshtaha, pleasing to anyone, Trilokyam, within these three worlds, Ajitendriyam, a person who is not self-controlled, Na Shaknuvanti, are unable, Te, all those, Sarve, taken together, Pratipurayitum, to satisfy, Nrupa, O King. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The personality of Godhead said, O my dear King, even the entirety of whatever there may be within the three worlds to satisfy one's senses cannot satisfy a person whose senses are uncontrolled. Purport. The material world is an illusory energy to deviate the living entities from the path of self-realization. Anyone who is in this material world is extremely anxious to get more and more things for sense gratification. Actually, however, the purpose of life is not sense gratification, but self-realization. Therefore, those who are too addicted to sense gratification are advised to practice the mystic yoga system or Ashtanga yoga system, consisting of Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, and so on. In this way, one can control the senses. The purpose of controlling the senses is to stop one's implication in the cycle of birth and death, as stated by Rishabhadeva. Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma yadindriya pritaya aprunoti nasadu manye yata atmanoyam asannapi kleshada ashadeha. When a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activity. He does not know that due to his past misdeeds, he has already received a body which, although temporary, is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on a material body, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think it not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification, by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after another. Bhagavatam 5.5.4. Thus, according to Rishabhadeva, the human beings in this material world are just like madmen engaged in activities which they should not perform, but which they do perform only for sense gratification. Such activities are not good because in this way one creates another body for his next life as punishment for his nefarious activities. And as soon as he gets another material body, he is put into repeated sufferings in material existence. Therefore, the Vedic culture or Brahminical culture teaches one how to be satisfied with possessing the minimum necessities in life. To teach this highest culture, Varnashrama Dharma is recommended. The aim of the Varnashrama divisions, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa, is to train one to control the senses and be content with the bare necessities. Here, Lord Vamanadeva, as an ideal brahmachari, refuses Bali Maharaj's offer to give him anything he might want. He says that without contentment, one could not be happy even if he possessed the property of the entire world or the entire universe. In human society, therefore, the Brahminical culture, Kshatriya culture, and Vaishya culture must be maintained, and people must be taught how to be satisfied with only what they need. In modern civilization, there is no such education. Everyone tries to possess more and more, and everyone is dissatisfied and unhappy. The Krishna consciousness movement is therefore establishing various farms, especially in America, to show how to be happy and content with minimum necessities of life and to save time for self-realization, which one can very easily achieve by chanting the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yenam Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Itinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Navadi Pasyata Desatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauravaktaranda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama Rama Hare Hare. The personality of Godhead said, O my dear king, even the entirety of whatever there may be within the three worlds to satisfy one's senses cannot satisfy a person whose senses are uncontrolled. There is a nice story which illustrates the thought process of the modern civilization. There was once a very rich man, rich merchant, businessman, who went to the villages. As he was, driving down in his car, he noticed that there was a farmer who was very happily sitting under a coconut tree with a coconut in his hand, and he was very casually, drinking and taking a nice relaxation under the tree. And then this merchant got a little tempted. He said, he stopped the driver, said, stop the car. Ask the person, will he get me also on coconut? And so the driver went and asked him. He said, yeah, come over. And so he went over there, and this farmer, he took one more coconut over there, cut it out and said, here. And the coconut is very, very, sweet coconut water. And then he opened up the coconut and gave him very tender coconut fruit to eat. And this businessman said, oh my God, this is so sweet. I never tasted anything like this. And this businessman said, yeah. And this farmer said, yeah, all my trees are like that. You see, there are so many beautiful coconuts they give. So many hundreds of coconuts are being produced here. Then this businessman said, you're missing out on such a big business opportunity. See, you should produce these coconuts in big quantities. You should build a factory here. You should take these coconuts, take out the water. See, because if you want to sell in the cities, you have to put them in Tetra Pak. Then you put up a big plant and produce these Tetra Paks. For that, don't worry, you'll need some finance and all that. I will help you. We'll produce this industry, then we'll go sell in the cities. We'll make a lot of money. Right? You can have lots of coconuts, grown, and lots of money you can make. Then the merchant, then this farmer said, okay, what next? See, when you can make a lot of money, you can buy a beautiful car like mine. And you see how, I've come out on this trip like this. You can also afford to take nice vacations. Then what else can you do? See, you can also see how I'm relaxed over here sitting and drinking this coconut over here. Right? You can also enjoy like that. This farmer said, I am also sitting over here and enjoying just like you. Why should I go and build a factory and then sell and everything and then enjoy? No, only I'm enjoying like this. See, this is the way that we have all complicated our lives. When Prabhupada says, you're all wasting human life. Human life is not meant for this and all that. It seems like theory for us. No, I have to earn a big degree, I have to get a big job, I have to work for a big IT company, I have to work from morning 6 o'clock till night 8 o'clock, I have to earn a lot of money, I have to make this. Finally, for what? Right? We all eat same. Maybe earlier I used to eat 2 chapatis, now I'm down to 1 chapati. Little rice, little sabji. You take all of that, it's just this much it is. Right? Have you tried eating more? What happens? Some problem will happen. Right? Somewhere it will come out. You get acidity, you get this, you get indigestion, or you become fat, some other problem will start. Right? So, the Shastras are saying, human life is not meant for all of this. Human life is meant for self-realization. Right? And it is they're pointing out over here that, you're thinking, whole world is thinking that this body is meant for sense gratification. But here's the thing. The fact that you have a material body itself is a punishment. Right? You have a material body means you're already being punished. We don't understand that. We think that this body is a vehicle for enjoyment. See what enhance the opportunities I have for sense gratification. We think like that. But the Shastra is telling, no, you have a body means you're already suffering. It is a punishment. In order to understand this, we need to understand the true nature of the Atma. Right? Now, in order to understand the true nature of the Atma, one has to actually stop getting entangled in this vicious cycle of sense enjoyment. So, the background story here is that we were reading earlier how Bali Maharaj had become very, very powerful. Why was that? How was he so powerful? By the blessings of his Guru. Right? Shukracharya's blessings, because he was serving the descendants of Bhrigu Muni, the Brahmanas, and Shukracharya in particular, following his instructions, and they abundantly blessed him to become very powerful. And they performed the Vishwajit sacrifice, right? And then, when he took his army and went to the heavenly planets, we saw, right, how beautiful those heavenly planets were. We have seen the description last night, the week before that. But what is the use of such wonderful heavenly planets? The Devatas could not enjoy it. As soon as Bali Maharaj came, they could understand, how powerful he is. They went to their Guru, who confirmed, saying, this is not your time. Right? And they had to leave everything and go. And then Aditi becomes very sad that her children have been bereft of their rightful kingdom. And she performs the Payavrata sacrifice. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself is born as Vamanadeva. This is a beautiful description of the beautiful qualities of Vamanadeva. He was so effulgent, so beautiful. And when Vamanadeva was born, the whole world was rejoicing. And for his thread ceremony, sacred thread ceremony, All the dignitaries of the universe came. Brahma came. Anybody knows what present Brahma gave? Huh? The pot, the kamandulu. And then Kashyapa gave us the sacred thread. And Mother Earth came and gave a danda. The brahmacharis carry one like a T shape. That. And so the moon god, I think, who gave the deer skin? Anybody remembers? We can read over here. It was a very nice description of the this is very nice to see at the sacred ceremony. Okay, so the sun god personally uttered the Gayatri mantra. Oh, Bruhaspati offered the sacred thread. Sorry, Kashyapa Muni gave him a straw belt. To wear. Mother Earth gave him a deer skin, and the demigod of the moon, who is the king of the forest, gave him a Brahmadanda. I mixed that up, sorry. So Mother Earth gave the deer skin, and the danda was given by moon god, who is the king of the forest. His mother Aditi gave him cloth for underwear. And the deity presiding over the heavenly kingdom offered him an umbrella, Indra. Lord Brahma offered a water pot to the inexhaustible Supreme Personality of Godhead. The 7 sages offered him kusha grass, and Mother Saraswati gave him a string of Rudraksha beads. Now, when Vamanadeva had thus been given the sacred thread, Kuvera, the king of the Yakshas, gave him a pot for begging alms. A pot for begging alms, Kuvera gave him. Mother Bhagavati, the wife of Lord Shiva, and the most chaste mother of the entire universe, gave him his first alms. The go begging. The first alms was given by Mother Parvati. Okay. So Vamanadeva was very nicely honored like this in this beautiful sacred thread ceremony. And then after that, he went to the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj. Right? Now, that is where all of this discussion is going on. Bali Maharaj is, when it said that when Vamanadeva came, he was so effulgent, so beautiful, so attractive, that all the Brahmanas and the sages stood up, and received him. And Bali Maharaj himself could understand that he is a great personality. He received him very nicely. He washed his feet and took the water and put on his head. And then Bali Maharaj asked him, "Oh, wonderful Brahmana, kindly ask for some. What can I give you? How can I be helpful to you?" He says, do you want a cow? Because, Brahmanas like cows. Can I give you a cow? Can I give you some land? How much ever you want. I can give you an island. Or do you want a wonderful Brahminical wife to help you? Right? Please ask me. So here, no, he says, no, I don't want all these things. Right? But I just want just 3 steps of land. Then Bali Maharaj is telling him, hey, what is this? You have come to the emperor of the entire universe. You come to me. If I give you something, you should not you should not have any wants anymore in your life. Why are you asking for these things? You're a young boy, you don't understand these things. Please ask for something substantial. What is the silly things you're asking? What is 3 steps of land? You're such a small dwarf. I'll give you more. Ask something that this thing. So he's saying, your instructions are as good as those of learned and elderly persons. Nonetheless, you are a boy and your intelligence is insufficient. Thus, you are not very prudent in regards to your self-interest. I am able to give you an entire island because I am the proprietor of the 3 divisions of the universe. He is referring to not some small island, he is referring to Jambudvipa. I can give you the entire world kind of a thing. There are 9 islands, right? I'll give you 1 island. Like that is telling. Not some person is trying to register an island as a nation or something. Not like that. So, you have come to take something from me and have pleased me by your sweet words. But you're asking only 3 paces of land. Therefore, you're not very intelligent. O small boy, one who approaches me to beg something should not have to ask anything more anywhere. Therefore, if you wish, you may ask from me as much land as will suffice to maintain you according to your needs. Then Vamanadeva is telling, the personality of Godhead said, O my dear king, even the entirety of whatever there may be within the 3 worlds to satisfy one's senses cannot satisfy a person whose senses are uncontrolled. If I were not satisfied with 3 paces of land, then surely I would not be satisfied even with possessing one of the 7 islands consisting of 9 varshas. Even if I possessed 1 island, I would hope to get others. We have heard that although powerful kings like Maharaja Prutu, Maharaja Gaya achieved proprietorship over the 7 dvipas, they could not achieve satisfaction or find the end of their ambitions. Then there's a beautiful verse. This is again a very famous verse. Edruchayapapannena santushto vartate sukham na santushtas tribhir lokair ajitatmopasaditaihi. One should be satisfied with whatever he achieves by his previous destiny, for discontent can never bring happiness. A person who is not self-controlled will not be happy even with possessing the 3 worlds. Herein, the secret is given. Edrucham, whatever is coming by destiny. There, in fact, in that purport, Prabhupada is quoting Prahlad Maharaj, the very famous 7th canto, verse 763. Sukham aindrikam daitya deha yogena dehinam sarvatra labhyate dhaivat yatha dukkam ayatnataha. Just like ayatnataha, without any effort, dukkam comes. Sukham also will come. One should not endeavor for it. My dear friends, born of demoniac families, the happiness perceived with reference to the sense objects by contact with the body can be obtained in any form of life according to one's past fruitive activities. Such happiness is automatically obtained without endeavor, just as we obtain distress. So the question becomes, what is the secret? What should we do? This is where Rupa Goswami has very nice instructions for devotees. When he talks about the impediments to spiritual life, one of the impediments to spiritual life is prayasa, over endeavor. When you've been given a human body, one should understand our endeavor should be towards self-realization. If we are engaged in sense gratification and working hard to possess more and more objects of senses, and with great difficulty you're trying to hold on to those objects of senses, all of these things you're trying to do, that is not going to give you happiness. Right? That's only going to give you suffering in this world. So what is that? How is it we are supposed to live? Yadrucham. Whatever comes of its own accord. So this is a very important secret in spiritual life at different stages of our life, irrespective of, whether we are just a small young person or an elderly person, whatever stage we are in, whichever ashrama we are in, doesn't matter. One has to learn this secret of not doing prayasa. Right? Now, there is no one single formula saying, oh, this much money you should have, and you should not have more. It's not a single formula like that. It is by different people will end up getting different, Janma Aishwarya Shruta Shri. Right? This will come of its own accord. But one has to make his life very simple and minimize. Right? Prabhupada is telling one should be satisfied with the minimum necessities of life. So what is a minimum necessity of life? Right? There are two aspects over here. One is to learn satisfaction. The other is to not over endeavor to get more and more. Both are necessary. Now the over endeavor piece, one has to, that's why, cultivate a devotee lifestyle, a Brahminical lifestyle, and make sure that one's activities for attaining material necessities does not come in the way of one's spiritual lifestyle. Very simple lifestyle. If we do not have time to get up in the morning and nicely chant our rounds, hear Bhagavatam, do our daily sadhana, if we are not able to create time every day to do some service for the mission of our spiritual master, if you are not able to substantially spend time in cultivating, if you are a grihastha, in cultivating spiritual life yourself and in facilitating that of all the family members, then something is wrong. We can have a little bit, some days we can be more, some days we can be less, that's okay. But consistently again and again if we are having this problem, something is definitely wrong in our approach. See, sometimes we see in our lives, when you are over endeavoring, very soon if you are a little bit thoughtful, you will figure out. Right? Some people, they can't afford some particular object of sense gratification. And then like this Thanksgiving comes, right? People can't afford some $1,000, $500, $600 item. So they'll go stand in line the previous day, fight with each other and this thing and try to get one. Then some people will just go outright steal. Right now we're seeing that also. Some people will try to do some tricks. They will buy something, they'll keep it, and then they'll return something else. All kinds of crazy stuff people do. These are all signs of is not due for you, and you're doing some gymnastics to have it. Because anything you try like that, it'll be gone from you. 100%. All of these things don't last. So one should understand what is it that is due to us and be very satisfied with it. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a whole story of Kulavecha Sridhara. So Kulavecha Sridhara was a very dear devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anybody knows what his occupation was? Huh? Leaves, these banana leaves, different kinds of leaves for eating. So very simple, this thing used to gather those leaves and go to the market and sell. And then he was, with his meager income, you can imagine how much income will he get. 50% of his income he was using for Lord's service, especially serving Mother Ganges. It is said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a very nice relationship with him. He would regularly go to his shop and negotiate with him, bargain with him for this thing. Some market rate is there, he will ask for much lesser than that. And Kulavecha Sridhara would smile and say, oh Lord, this is the price I have, please pay this. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not let go. No, I want it for this much. And he would always, he would just give it. So it was a very intimate relationship like both of them had like that. And then later, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Kulavecha Sridhara would participate in many of his pastimes. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was showing his divine form, there is a discussion of, he asks him, what do you want? You ask me. I'll give you whatever you want. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Right? It's called the Mahaprakasha Leela. Right? A pastime when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed his divine identity and granted blessings to his devotees. Then Kulavecha Sridhara was among those who received special mercy. He called for him and asked him to present his desires so that the Lord could fulfill them. However, Sridhara, being a humble and helpless devotee, did not ask for material wealth or any personal boon. Instead, he asked only to remember the Lord's lotus feet and his loving exchanges with Lord Chaitanya in every birth. He just said, I just want to remember you and the wonderful exchanges we have been having, birth after birth after birth. And the Lord was moved by Sridhara's devotion and granted him pure love for the divine, the highest spiritual attainment. So we see here, when we have a desire for living very simple life. So whatever is given to us, within that we have to create a situation where we can serve the Lord, serve the Lord's mission in a very meaningful way. Right? This is what it means, like living with the bare necessities of life. Imagine Kulavecha Sridhara, how much money he will make from selling leaves. Very meager. You might say, oh, he doesn't have the minimum necessities of life. You should have at least one nice bungalow, right? You should have one, nice, in those days, I guess, nice bullock cart or something. You should work hard till you make, do something. Start a, banana leaf factory, whatever. Right? He's saying, no, whatever the Lord has given me. If the Lord wants more, he'll give you more. If the Lord doesn't want, he won't give me. Right? So one has to understand this, how to live this. Otherwise, there is the whole three worlds cannot satisfy one who is not controlled in his senses. We'll stop here. Anybody has got any quick questions or comments? Yeah. See, one should understand something. When you practice a devotional life, right? And that doesn't mean that we are not aiming for, whatever. For everybody it's different, right? If that for somebody it might be in a big position, for somebody it might be in a simple position. What comes of its own accord doesn't mean you don't work. Everybody has to work. You have 40 hours to work. Do 40 hours of work nicely to the best of your ability, and it will come. Whatever comes, you use that in the Lord's service immediately. If the Lord has to give you more, He'll give you more. If the Lord says, no, this is not enough, this is enough for you, you should do this, you focus on that. So our endeavor is not about this level we need, that level we need, this is needed, that is needed. That's not our goal. Our goal is whatever has been given, what do you do with it? That should be our focus. Most people, they're like, one day I've learned this much, then I'll give so much to Krishna. In your endeavor to earn so much, you will lose Krishna and there's nothing to give. Right? Then when you get it also, you have no time to give. You are so entangled in your this thing. You see that this world, that's what happens. People create these very complicated lives. If you're if you're a millionaire, you're trying to become 100 millions. I have to become a HNI, high net worth individual. HHNI, there's a category. If you have $3 million in your liquid cash, you are considered an HNI, high net worth individual. If you have $20 million liquid as you're considered HHNI. You want to be HHHHNI. Goes on and on. A billionaire is trying to become a multi-billionaire. The richest man is trying to go conquer some other world. He is not satisfied with Earth, he wants to go behind Mars. It is like this continues. So one should understand that there is no end for these things. And with whatever has been given, what are you doing with what has been given? Don't say that, I need a little bit more, then I'll give. That is your foolishness. Kulavacha Sridhara had nothing. With that he gave 50%. That should give us some indication, like we are supposed to do something with what we have. And then Lord will give you what you will see that you don't need anything big for being satisfied and happy. Okay? We'll stop here. Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Bol Premananda.
Enthusiasm comes. When you chant and you hear, chant delight, and when you hear, you relish hearing.